The SEC wants Coinbase to delist every cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin. Question everything, trust nothing. Welcome to Debate Crypto. It's your boy CryptoKeeper here on another Magic Money Monday. We've got some big news to talk about, and who better to do it with than your boy CVO Crypto. What's up, brother?
What is going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
Glad that you are here, dude. I was browsing through some of the news articles, and yeah, one of them that we're going to talk about, I like sat back in my chair and I was like, huh? They want to do what? So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about altcoins. Smash that like if you haven't already. Make sure that you're subscribed, got the bell notification on, and make sure you're following CVO over at Leading Crypto. His information is down below the stream. We're also streaming over on TikTok. Just for everybody over on TikTok, we love you as well. I'm going to be paying attention to YouTube, though, just throwing that out there. And chat, I'm having a little bit. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Chat, I'm here. I am here. There we go. All right, so let me jump into the chat real quick, and then we'll get to it. Who was first in the chat today? Green Day Profits, showing off the muscles. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Dave Digital in the house. Glad everybody's here. Let's have some fun. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the markets as usual, see what's going on there, and we'll press on forward. So the global crypto market cap is at 1.18 trillion with the T dollars. That's down 0.7%. Pretty flat. Bitcoin's at 29,173, down 0.63%. ETH doing about the same thing at $1,859, down almost 1%, but up just a hair over the last 7 days. As we scroll down through the top 10, XRP is down almost 2%. It's at 70 cents. I know the XRP army is not happy to hear that. They want us up and to the right indefinitely, but we are down about 2% now. Dogecoin down a couple percent, and then rounding out the top 10, we've got Solana and Tron both down actually about 4%. Solana at 4.29 and Tron down 3.5% or 3.4%. So let's kick it off. CVO, before we dive into all of the altcoin madness and some of the articles and some other stuff that we got going on, how do you feel about the just overall status of the market right now?
Man, it's pretty sideways. You know, you and I kind of discussed some of the news that's been kind of like, you know, coming forward this afternoon, but doesn't really turn my opinion, I guess, as far as the market would go. I think everything is, you know, pretty much still pretty much in a technical, world, I guess you could say. So excited to take a look at it and kind of merge it with the news and see what's going on.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited about it as well. I know that people have been talking about the fact that it's exactly like you said. It's been boring. And if you haven't been around for a bear market before, this is where the people that really make it separate themselves from the people who don't. Because flat out, if you're able to withstand some of this, if you're able to, and again, we're not here for financial advice, but if you're able to buy when things are boring, buy when things are down, when you're able to stack continually through some of this, you're going to look back and really thank yourself later. At least I believe that you will. I have in the past. I can use my experience, and I'm sure CVO has done the same thing. He obviously does a lot more trading, on the trading side of things, but it's definitely boring yet opportunistic. So don't forget, it's always an opportunity when things are down. All right, so let me pull up an article real quick. Let's start with the Richard. I got some Richard Hart news. Let me start with that. Your boy Richard Hart. Let me pull this up here right quick. We have the lots of SEC news today, by the way, crypto fam. So stick around for that. SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with $1 billion worth of unregistered securities offering. Says Hex founder Richard Hart and 3 entities have been charged today for allegedly conducting unregistered crypto asset securities offerings. What a freaking surprise. The commission also included the 3 unincorporated entities in its charges: Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex. So they're suing him directly, and then the entities that are Pulse, PulseX, and Hex. Here's where I think a couple of these things kind of made me laugh. This one's a good one. Hart and Pulse Chain also face charges for allegedly using $12 million of the offering's proceeds to buy, what do you know, luxury goods, including a 555 carat black diamond called the Enigma. All right, let me pause. Dude, are you taking your crypto freaking are you taking money you've made off crypto and who's buying a 555 carat diamond? This dude, you obviously you've seen him, right?
Oh yeah.
He sits in this like king's chair, right? And he has like a Louis Vuitton bag that lights up and does all that. Dude, he is to me, and I don't care, I might get some hate for this, he is the most cringy dude I have ever met. But I also, or not I haven't met him, but that I've ever seen. But I've also heard from people that know him that he's actually like a really good dude, and that's just like a persona. Do you know anything about him?
Nothing about him, on a personal level. All I can think about, honestly, it's like that one. There's like a movie almost. My wife and I went to see a movie recently, and there's like a piece that they're like quoting. I don't even know what the movie is from, but it's like, you sit on a throne of lies, and I just picture like him just like sitting there in like yeah, just chilling in like a Gucci suit, and just raking it in, man. Like I don't know. He's definitely notorious for flexing his wealth while basically others are paying for it. So
yeah. And then it goes a little bit farther into it, and I thought this part was interesting. It says Hart began marketing Hex in 2018, claiming it was the first high yield blockchain certificate of deposit, and began promoting the tokens as an investment designed to, quote, make people rich. Read the SEC's complaint. Obviously, we know we can't do that. They're also taking a dim view of his staking feature that Hart claimed. And this is where I have trouble with the Hex community as a whole for buying into this. He was claiming that it would deliver returns and yields of 38%. And they're alleging that he deliberately attempted to evade securities laws by urging the Hex investors to sacrifice crypto assets instead of investing them. The sacrifices that they were doing, I don't know how it plays into actually evading securities laws, but it actually is a really creative idea. It's kind of like the idea of just burning to change, to lower the supply of the asset. So it's a creative idea, but on its face, if all you're telling people is, hey, it'll make you rich, which is all I ever heard from Hex. Like I've heard nothing that I've heard from them has been like this fundamental, like, oh, okay, I could get on board with that. It's always just, if you hear him talk and if you hear him argue and banter back and forth with people, he just says it's up and to the right exponentially. What other asset does that? That's what I can't get on board with, because that's just not reality, dude. If you had something that was up and to the right forever, right, and you could prove that you were able to continually do that, wouldn't every single person on planet Earth just be dumping their money into it? You know what I mean?
We call it hexponentially around here.
Hexponentially. Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, no,
I
mean, that was definitely the play, man. There's people that would come out and just defend that project to the death, and
dude,
just due to just it at the time, it was up and to the right for quite a while, and it was without any kind of sound reason, I suppose. But yeah, he was definitely one of the few that was just. It was expected. I mean, like he even like almost without even saying it, he was just like, yeah, I don't know. It was like a meme almost, where he'd come out and just kind of dressed up in those obnoxious outfits and just be flexing everybody else's money, and like it was like almost like a, hey, thanks for my $50,000 suit, peasant.
Thanks for my Gucci belt. Yeah. Thank you for my Louis bags. Thank you for this gold-plated throne that I sit on, or whatever. Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. I actually didn't know. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Can you do a little TA on Hex? And then I do have a question that I want to throw out there for somebody on TikTok regarding XRP. But can we start? Can you toss a little TA on some Hex for us
regarding XRP? What a transition.
Dude,
I was just going to build a straight chart with you here, because
let's see it.
I mean, it's my boy Magic Internet Money would refer to this as a Christmas tree chart, right? So you got the straight up pump and dump, which a lot of altcoins look like, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you had let's just take a peek, because this is 2020. This is, I don't even know, Uniswap's chart, I suppose, on this. So 2020 is kind of when it was born. Obviously ran through the last bull run, and just from the low to the high, had a pretty extreme run. Like,
what is that, 65,000%?
Yeah, a good old 660x.
But the problem was, bro, my understanding was the way that it worked, and maybe somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but my understanding was that most of the people never saw any of those returns because of the way he had things set up, and you basically had to lock your assets for so long that you basically couldn't get out and you couldn't take profits. And if you did, it was like a 50%. I swear to God, it was like a 50% fee effectively that you were getting fined. If that's how I look at it, you're getting fined for pulling your profits. It was massive. That was my understanding.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know too much about it personally, but I do remember that kind of being a gimmick, I guess you could say.
Kenton said the Jim Jones. Look at this comment. Kenton said the Jim Jones of crypto, got to drink his Kool-Aid. No doubt. That's a good comment, Kenton, for sure.
The Jim Jones. Yeah, definitely down 99%. So there's that, which once again, to be fair, I mean, like, the majority of the market is
crushed.
Not great. So yeah, just looking for some key regions here as we, if we get anything explosive out of the markets. Yeah, nothing too much, man. I mean, definitely something that could really just push up. I mean, damn, this is like pretty garbage across the board. Aside from that, though,
can you show me a chart, like a short term, like I don't know, like an hourly chart on today, or like a 15-minute chart or something from today? Did it dump?
Dump wise, I mean, yeah, this is 15 minutes. So
did it dump today? From the news, I guess, is what I was wondering.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not like not the worst, but I don't know,
it definitely got
when news really kicked in or not. So like, you're talking, this is just 45% today. And yeah, this is definitely like from Saturday to today.
To today.
To be fair, I haven't looked at this at all, so I didn't even realize that there was like that negative of a move.
Good Lord. I figured that there was going to be a lot of negativity surrounding that. Okay, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of the story is, if you're a Hexagon, it's probably not looking great. Now, albeit the SEC, the SEC has been going after, and we're going to talk about this some more in a minute. The SEC has been going after anyone and everyone that's loaded up flush with cash. The problem in this position is that he's loaded up and flush from your cash if you are part of the community. And how is he going to pay for all these legal fees? Oh, wait a minute. He made you lock up all of your assets freaking for 15 years, or you get a 50% penalty or whatever it is. So what do you think is going to happen? He's going to use your money to pay for his attorneys and his Gucci belts. And I don't know. I don't see this turning out too well. But I've been telling people for a long time that I didn't like anything about it.
Is that the real? Or are you just kind of talking about a number?
Well, I'm totally just saying that. But ultimately, there was some huge rewards for locking up, and I saw people that were locking up for multiples of years, and he was paying out, quote unquote, huge rewards. But the rewards go away if the asset price just absolutely takes a dump. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be there. So I don't know. We don't have to do TA on it, dude. If if there's just nothing there, it doesn't surprise.
I mean, it's not necessarily nothing. It's just, I mean, like it would definitely be like kind of like a Pepe revival at this point. Like it's something that's completely just melted down. I mean, it's kind of living within the current month range, I guess, would be the only thing that's kind of giving it a little bit of lifeline. It's like one of those, Shiba Inus with like the 0.00s and all that good stuff. It's got an old quarterly range just, back before it that, potentially puts it all the way back up to like 0.03 cents.
So that's a huge move.
Yeah, if things really got going, which, you know, you would like 400% move. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's got some pumpage, like, I don't know, like some pumpinology, I guess you could say, like if it just kind of like pushed up, but nothing other than just like rotating that old range. Yeah, today's definitely been a day though. I mean, like, yeah, like looking at something that's, you know, pushed down like 45-50%. That's
it's a huge move.
Yeah, this was Saturday here, the 29th, and then yeah, today pushed down 45%. So yeah,
that's a nasty dump. So anyway, the moral of the story, ladies and gents, is Hex is in trouble, and I think that the SEC, with that one in particular, I'm just speculating, this is just right off the top, I think the SEC, if you want to talk about a case that they might be able to really win and take someone down just on its face, the way that he, you know, basically was telling people, hey, get rich off of Hex, get rich off of Hex, get rich off of Hex. I think they'll probably have a pretty easy case to make there. So we'll see about it. Hey, somebody over on TikTok said, I'm very confused in the crypto market, especially regarding XRP. What is your opinion? So he didn't give me any more context than that, but I kind of know what he's saying. He's just saying like, hey, wait a minute. Like, didn't they effectively win this case? Why are we not doing anything? What's going on? What's your opinion? So let me hear from you, CVO. What do you got?
Man, XRP is, it trades as technical as anything else. And, you know, when you get wrapped up in the news, I think that is like really what traps people a lot of time, right? That's going to make you super emotional. But just kind of taking a look at, kind of mind you that this little pump didn't happen, right? Like, or not that it didn't happen, but we'll take a look at it, right? So you had this huge range, so consolidation, right? So price action was pretty much just trending sideways, all, from May of last year all the way till pretty much middle of July. And so you're talking about a good 14-month consolidation. Not a small range by any means, right? You're talking like an 80% window here. And I talk about this a lot because I really think that Chainlink is going to go through something very similar to this, could be relatively soon. But
you talking about a massive pump and then kind of a little bit of a retracement.
Yeah. There's just like when you see like a huge range like this resolve to the upside, I mean, like you get a really big, nice, this was 100% rally, right? Like that. Yeah. You just don't see out of nowhere, and especially with like a bear market, right, type of scenario that we're in. But you had this really tight, wound range here. Got the breakout, got the back test of the value area high, and then you got the breakout to the upside, right? And for me, I'm really targeting. You got the overhead. You kind of front ran it a little bit. Magic had a really good chart on XRP, which I won't even go into, some of his targets that he had, but he nailed it. I mean, to like 87 cents, obviously, ran a little bit further than that to like 93. But we were looking for 87 cents. And then basically, the dollar, gold pocket, year pivot here, and then potentially, pushing through to about like $1.13. But you had this really big push up, and then we just been kind of consolidating to the side here, right? So a couple things you could look for, and one is everybody's targeting back down to like 55 cents for like a back test, which even for me like does make a lot of sense. The only thing is about this is that would we push up to like $1 first, and potentially a little bit more, right? So it's the only question I guess at hand. And
it'd be like a 45% retracement if you did that too. I mean, that would be a lot of movement.
That it'd be a really big retracement, right? So like, and you can see pretty much like right here though how like well respected this was on. This is a 3-month chart, so every candle is a 3-month time frame. So we had a quarterly low. Obviously, we dumped through, wick up, and then you finally broke through. I got this gold pocket kind of lined out here, and this is only actually assuming that we push up to the yearly pivot, up at about $1 area here. Okay. And the reason for that would be, just kind of outlining that just traditional pullback, right, where you get that like 0.618 to 0.605 pullback, which I just do, see in the cards here. And then I guess if we just dropped it down to the current level, it's not too far below.
And that 0.618 is right at $1, right?
To the upside wise, yeah. Like, so this is actually a macro gold pocket from above. This is from a really the recent high down to the low. This is pulling that up to that dollar area. with the average of price coming in. So this is actually the average of price from 2021, I believe. So this is actually like 2 years back. This is an untapped average of price that has not been tapped yet. So it's, and it's not like a guarantee that that's just where we're going to stop. You could very well get something, along the lines of this, where you kind of like, push through really hard. And then for me, a short idea would be to pay attention and see if we come back through, start back testing that year pivot, basically, push through that gold pocket a little bit. And if you get the pullback and a back test and a resistance, overhead, then the short is in play. And I do think that we would see, coming back all the way back down through these levels here. So it's been a few weeks at this point where, that idea has been in play. And we could very well just drop out of here too, right? So it's just something to kind of pay attention for. I really lean to the idea that we would see a couple things here. And like for me as a whole, I do foresee like a little bit of a move up out of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. And that could be like 5-6%, like, maybe 10%, like nothing crazy out of Bitcoin and ETH. But like for the altcoins, that could be potentially one of those like decent rallies, right? Like where it's like you get like 20 and 30% out of like the whole crypto market. And, Bitcoin and ETH, I think that they've kind of topped out, so to speak, for the short term here in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. Dominance potentially has topped out. And you'll see that like kind of shift, right? However, if we're going to get a decent pullback out of Bitcoin and Ethereum, like you're going to see those ebbs and flows into the market as a whole. So for like things like XRP to push up to like $1 from where we are now, that's about a 40% push. Yeah. And I could see that being an area where that could be a potential local top, and then getting a really, substantial pullback, almost 40-50% all the way back down to like 55 cents. And then a lot of the other altcoins that I'm looking at are like kind of lining up with that idea where we could see a potential like 30-40% push up. And then, that could be a potential, top for a minute. So,
I mean, I think it would be an exciting little rally. The small rallies that we see, in the bear market, if you're paying attention on a daily basis, they're fun. It's kind of a change of pace, because if you came in during the bull market and you bought, and I feel bad for people who came in with just the straight FOMO, came in at the top of the market, all excited, Bitcoin's at 69K and they're being told it's going to freaking 250K, whatever that looks like, right? But the reality is, in all of these assets, if you've done any of your homework and you truly believe in the fundamental aspect of that asset, just be patient. This is for everybody that's in crypto. Patience, patience, patience. It's not financial advice. This is just saying that if for Bitcoin, for example, or if XRP is your thing, whatever, it's not going to just happen overnight. And I told people that we were going to get a big pump, which, dude, it's a big freaking pump to go 100%. Just boom. So they get information, and legitimately it was about, I think, 100% push out of XRP, and people were complaining about it. Right. Now there's some things with XRP, a lot of them, Miguel would love to point them out. Crusader would love to point them out if he was on here. One of them being the escrow. I saw some people making comments about the escrows concerning, and just the massive amount that XRP holds. You know what I mean? They've got half of the supply, I believe, that they hold back, and they were releasing $1 billion I think it's $1 billion every month, I believe. Somebody can check me on that, but I think that's what it is, which is going to make it hard to move. My other concern with XRP, and this is coming from somebody that holds a lot of XRP, so I want to see this thing go absolutely insane, just like anyone else that holds XRP, but I hold like quite a bit, so I would love to see it happen. My other concern is just that the elites and the banks are just not going to allow us to just wake up multimillionaires, billionaires, whatever the case may be. It's just not a real thing. And if you think that tens of thousands of people are going to become instant millionaires and billionaires overnight, I think you're confused, right? And so I also think that XRP needs to find a place where it can settle, because although computers are obviously, hashing out the price when they're moving from point A to point B, and you're doing remittances, I know the computers can do it very instantly, but for people or banks to need to use it, they need to have some sort of solid ground and foundation to stand on to say, okay, I know that using XRP right now would be beneficial to us, and not have to always go and look it up and see if this is the best way to do it. So there's a couple concerns that I have with XRP. I again hope that it does really well. As far as being concerned or confused about the market, I'm not really confused about the market. I mean, ultimately for me, this is just part of the game that is the bear market. And these institutional investors that are getting in and have got in and they're going to play games. So you got to put on your big boy and big girl pants. You've got to be prepared that this could get and will be a wild ride. So smash the like if you haven't already. Make sure you're following CVO. If you're on TikTok, you can jump over to YouTube if you want to see all the technical analysis and stuff that's going on. It is Debate Crypto on YouTube. All right, cool.
So since it's just you and I today, we could spice it up a little bit. So, what's really funny is like in talking about bear market, 4-year cycle, all this and all that, right? So, I came on your show like literally a year ago, I think, with you, me, Miguel. It's like a What If Wednesday, and we kind of went over the housing market, and I went over the election process, I guess, that like I kind of like a theory, I guess, that I was kind of tinkering around with. And like, mind you, like I really don't give a shit about like any kind of certain politics, whatever, one way or the other. But it's interesting to note on how things kind of line up together. And for me, I do kind of get this idea, I guess, that the 4-year cycle, which we've all come to know, I think that this could potentially be the last one of what we know so far, right? That 4-year cycle that everybody has come to love, and potentially have like 4 to 5 versions of that, to where it's like, okay, next time around in the bear market, everybody's just just feels like they can just wait. They'll know that they can just hold out to the halving cycle, blah blah blah. The idea here is that the housing market, right, has got an 18 to 20-year cycle, that essentially crypto was born in the beginning of this recent 20-year cycle in the housing market. And while we've experienced, 4-year cycles, quote unquote, and not even quote unquote, but just that's all we've experienced so far. That's all we can really back test. It's the only, iterations that we know of crypto. However, in my opinion, I guess, and that's all it is that I think that we're building out the very first 20-ish year cycle on crypto. And, leading into the end of this decade, which is like, potentially the last one would be about 2027, 2028, which is obviously this next little potential run up here. And, leads into the election cycles and things of that nature, like, how we, whatever anybody thinks about President Biden, like the views that they put out there, where it was like a very our government's really good at hiding what they want to hide. Like they either show you what they want to show you, or they hide what they want to hide. And that's
for sure.
Like when my mother can come out and be like, oh yeah, Biden stole the election. Da, da, da. Like I don't know, like regardless of how it ended up being, but like you had duffel bags of votes being piled in and all this and that, all on national television. They really wanted everybody to kind of have that vision, that idea, whether it's true or not, whatever.
Right.
But like when you think about when I talk about that housing cycle, and in the housing cycle, there's that initial run up, and then there's that 2 to 3 year period of just full uncertainty. It creates this this time frame where there's
question marks.
Yeah, and it always ends up in the same recipe, where you get this huge black swan event, and then you get high inflation, high interest rates, everybody gets a recession, and it's like with President Trump at the time, back in 2019, 2020, like everything was booming, everybody was ecstatic, everything was, on fire. And then he just kind of walked away, right, from the presidency at the time. And, in that same period, it was like, that was the time frame. 2020 was that time frame where we were going to get that 2 to 3 year period of uncertainty, high inflation, high interest rates. Everybody expects a recession.
It lines up.
It super lines up, man. And then like for potentially, keyword potentially, for if we're going to see this all out face melt, so to speak, of all markets, housing, crypto, stock market, whatever, if that's going to really kick off in like 2024 to 2027, 2028, that's that next presidential year. It's just interesting to see that they just kind of potentially slid somebody in to just kind of sit during the, the rough years, just to kind of go back to, I think it's going to be Trump, just out of like pure, just, video see, I guess, like just kind of projecting that idea. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how things all kind of line up, and like markets in general. And that's without any news, right? That's just like in general, just like the way that all markets have been. I mean, you could back test this little theory for like easily the last 100 years. I've put up the last 4 iterations on the housing market specifically, which obviously transpires into the stock market and into now crypto. So yeah, anyways, it should be fun, man. I think that the next few years are going to be pretty wild.
Well, you say wild. I'll throw it out there. I think it's going to be flat out scary. I think that without getting crazy political and getting myself kicked off of YouTube, because I could do that very easily. We have so much. It's not even we have uncertainty just about basic facts of life at this point, and all of it is a distraction. It is designed to have you looking at things. I did a TikTok on this. It's designed to have you looking at things that don't threaten our monetary policy, right? That don't threaten the Fed, that don't threaten the dollar, right? They don't want you looking at that. The reason that you're not seeing all of the ins and outs and the inner workings like of everything with the CBDCs and what the WHO is doing and all that type of stuff, they don't want you to see that. What they want you to do is argue with your freaking neighbor about your political standing. They want you to argue about LGBTQ+. They want you to argue about Black Lives Matter. They want you to argue about things that have nothing to do with anything other than social injustice, because social injustice has nothing to do at the end of the day with the almighty dollar. And the reality is the BRICS nations are all forming. They're about to release information on their hard-backed money, right? What they're going to be doing there soon. Japan just came off of their 0%, 20 years of 0% interest rates, which is just very much going to affect the US dollar and world markets. There is a lot happening right now, and I think it's going to be scary because most people are not prepared in any type of way. And I candidly don't know how to prepare in a lot of different ways because you don't know what it is. Like, what is it going to be? Is it going to be that Bitcoin and crypto ultimately are able to just take over and blast off in blockchain because of the CBDCs? And then we look at it and we say, well, wait a minute. We're giving up all of our privacy. We're giving up all of our ability to make daily decisions with our money, but my investment portfolio looks great. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. And I'm concerned for the average American because most people can't, are living paycheck to paycheck. And, we're talking about investments. Investments are above and beyond all of your daily ins and outs. And if the investment markets absolutely tank, if the housing market tanks, it's ugly. It gets really ugly. If you don't remember 2009, it was really freaking ugly for a lot of people. A lot of people went bankrupt and lost a lot of money. And I'm hoping not to see that again. But yeah, it does line up with everything, dude. I absolutely couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, we need to pray for our country. That's the bottom line. No matter what political party you affiliate with, we definitely need to be praying. Whoever you pray to, right? You need to be praying because this is definitely ugly. Let me throw this up here real quick, CVO. Yeah. I actually am on a time cut today. I've got to take my daughter to swim lessons.
Yep.
So let me ask you about this real quick. I know you had some alts to share some TA on. Let me see if we can get to it. Coinbase CEO says the SEC wanted all assets except for Bitcoin delisted. We're like, what? The SEC reportedly requested Coinbase to stop trading in all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin before suing America's largest crypto exchange last month, according to a report by the Financial Times citing CEO Brian Armstrong. Listen to what they said to him. He said, they came to us and they said, we believe every asset other than Bitcoin is a security. And we said, well, how are you going to come to that conclusion? Because that's not our interpretation of the law. They said, we're not going to explain it to you. You need to delist every asset other than Bitcoin. Okay, dude. How, or let me ask this. Let me ask you a different way. What would that do to the crypto markets if Coinbase actually set the precedent and said, hey, we're going to listen to the SEC. They're telling us they won't explain it to us, but we're going to listen to the SEC and we are going to delist every single asset in crypto besides Bitcoin? How are the markets affected? What happens? Do people absolutely flood into Bitcoin? Do they give you time to get out of assets? Does just the whole market freaking tank because everybody's fearful? What do you just think off the top of your head? Like, what do you think would happen?
That's an interesting one. I mean, I definitely think that there would be some pullbacks, I guess, across the board, as people would probably, it would probably be one of those situations if, when people are expecting and anticipating Bitcoin to kind of push up a little bit more and altcoins to continue to bleed, that would kind of be one of those, I guess, scenarios where everybody would kind of consolidate if they're going to, cash out of their altcoins and dump it into something besides USD, would be into Bitcoin, I suppose. I just, you texted me, or we were talking about this news earlier today. I mean, that's been a live news, catalyst, I guess, for at least 4 or 5 hours, or 3 or 4 hours at this point. And it really hasn't broken.
The market hasn't done anything.
It hasn't done anything. We're still within the same 1.5% range that we've been in for the last week and a half. So it's interesting. So, yeah, I hate being the I don't really pay attention to news guy, but in theory, for me, man, I can't get over the end of the year last year where it was just, everything and everyone was, told, and I say told, but, FTX collapsed November, right? December, we were going into the end of the year. We're at 15 and change, right? $1,000 Bitcoin, obviously, all across the lows for everything else. And, what was the narrative, I suppose? I hate that term, but that's the, the notion. And the storyline at the time was, hey, like, cash out, get out of the market. The markets are going to continue to dump. BNB is going to be next. Coinbase potentially get your, money out of crypto. These exchanges aren't safe. It was just the most like gangster shakeout I think I've ever seen, right? Like where you just shook everyone out like willingly at the low, and then you just to see Bitcoin at least go up by almost 100%, if not 100%, and then the altcoins to really explode, probably more so than that. So when I see headlines like that, I don't know, it's interesting, I guess, but
I think it's interesting you said shakedown. That's genuinely, I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's what the SEC is doing. I think the SEC, they're shakedown artists. They're ultimately trying to disrupt this crypto market in any way that they can. And they're willing to say things to a massive corporation like Coinbase. We're not going to explain it to you. Like, wait a minute, you're going to come at me and tell me we need to basically shut down our entire multi-billion-dollar business, but you're not going to explain to me why? Nah, bro, that's not how life works. You know what I mean? You're not going to whack me in a freaking barbershop while I'm getting a shave. You know what I mean? But that's what it feels like, dude. It literally feels like they're saying, hey, let me tell you something, okay? We ain't gonna explain this to the likes of you. You know what I mean? And then what? So I think it'll be interesting to see where they actually are able to go with this. Are they able to push this further? What does this do to the markets? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on it, crypto fam. If you're watching here, make sure you keep on watching. Make sure you got the bell notification on. Smash those likes. Follow CVO over on Leading Crypto. They've got a great Discord as well. If you're looking to trade, I feel bad. I'm kind of cutting you short today because I have an appointment. Guys, listen. CVO is always over there. Him and Magic are always over there doing TA. And I will tell you that there's a lot of people in their Discord. They're not giving financial advice either. They're just showing and teaching. They're showing and teaching. Hey, we're doing this. We're looking at this. Here's value area highs, value area lows, points of control, and they're teaching people how to ultimately have the opportunity to make money. And a lot of people have been successful. CVO, I'll tell you what. Let's round this out with a chart today. What do you got an alt that you want to throw out here?
Man, I can rapid fire a few things at you real quick if you want to switch over.
Right.
So obviously the whole market is, ran off of Bitcoin for the most part, right? So somebody in the chat said, what's the BTC outlook? And I got a really simple one. It's really based off of, a couple areas here. But we are simply traveling within about a 1.5% range, similar to Ethereum at the moment. Breakdown is potentially, you know, there. The only thing is I'm looking for potentially like a higher low, I'm sorry, a lower high as we come in. You got an overall gold pocket for Bitcoin from this current high down to the low, comes in about 30,800. There's an untapped weekly pivot up here. So this is an old average price from like 3 weeks ago at this point. Not an extreme target. I'm more so concerned with this region right here. And this comes up into about, you know, right at 30K. We're at the last day of the month. You're going to have some new pivots generated. So pivots are the average of price for a certain time frame. You get the mean reversion essentially. So price will return to the average of price for previous sessions. So for the average of price for July, right, like it's going to generate here in a second. It's going to come in basically right in this region, about 30K. We've also got you're back in the June range, right? So when we're looking at just some, you know, overall high time frame ranges, something to kind of be aware of. I'll kind of outline this a little bit better here. So I got some boxes, as you can see, but right here is the value area as we come into it, right? So this is the June range, right? So we've been living back within this region. Essentially, we started off basically deviating outside. You got that break in, got the back test of the high. Potentially, we could come back up and back test it once again. And like I said, this is going to be the new pivot for July, starting tonight at 8 p.m., right?
Right around 30K, right?
Yeah, right at 30K. Nice rounded number. Everybody likes to, you know, think that that's a thing. But it is, you know, honestly, a decent region to kind of be concerned with. This would front run potentially that gold pocket. But basically between 30K and 30,800 is the two I'm looking at for the potential higher low. And then, yeah, I'm looking to, you know, travel down back into these regions here. So there for July, you've got a naked point of control down here. You've got an old quarterly naked point of control as well. You've got an old daily level. You've got a weekly level, all coming in. These are all just, you know, regions.
Around that 25, 26K number, right?
Yeah, you know, pretty much 25.9 up until about 26.5. So in that window, we've got, you know, gold pocket and untapped monthly, which I think would just be more so like a little pit stop along the way. So that's, you know, one area. And then as you can see here, there's, you know, just a huge volume gap, right? So, you know, most would kind of pay attention for that. You fast moves up equals fast move down half the time. You can see the high volume node comes in right at the gold pocket, right at that monthly. So, so potential, you know, support, some bounce area as we come into it. A couple days might be right. People start loading up thinking that's the low. But the more so volume targets all line up down in this region here. So that's what I'd expect out of Bitcoin, potentially a 5-10% move to the upside first, and then looking for a move down, you know, throughout the rest of the summer here.
It'll be, and I unfortunately have to cut you off too, because I got to go. But that'll be the little fake out, right? They ultimately will start to pump again. There will be some things that'll point towards, hey, it's coming. And then we're probably going to get another new. And I've been telling people for a long time that I believe that we still have a lot of pain in store. And I think, unfortunately, we're going to follow the stock market into that pain. There's no way to avoid the fact that we are in or going to be in a recession, depending on what definition you look at as recession. We have lots of problems on the horizon. But hey, the Bitcoin halving is next year. So kind of is what it is, dude. CVO, I apologize for pushing you off quickly. I gotta run. I gotta take my daughter to swim lessons. So thanks for coming on, brother. We'll see you next week, guys. Just so you know, Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays. So Mondays are Magic Money Monday. We usually do altcoin TA. Jump into some news as well. Thursdays, TA Thursday. That's around the charts. We will be doing more Bitcoin centric kind of macro markets. We'll talk also some traditional markets. And then Sundays, we like to do kind of a weekly wrap up, debate crypto style back and forth. So if you're not subscribed, if you don't have the bell notification on, do your thing and make sure to follow CVO. CVO is going to be coming back with us on Mondays, and we'll have other creators on as well. So yeah, we love you guys. You could be anywhere on a Monday, but you are hanging out here with Debate Crypto. So just remember, question everything, trust nothing. And until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon.